What's up everybody? Omid, Succeed with Omid here again for another stretching video. Today this was a request by one of my clients. She wanted to understand a lot of the figure 4 position for sciatic pain that her physical therapist gave to her. I kind of went over this with her a lot and she really had a hard time understanding that we really need to worry about what the actual position of the hip is in. Otherwise we might actually just be stretching the lower back, and the only reason the lower back is involved in sciatic pain is because it's screaming for help from the hamstring when we walk and move around. Figure 4 stretch is pretty simple in concept. All we have to do is find a box or a bench or something comfortable, a well-trained dog, anything will work just that we can sit on. The most important thing for me as a trainer is I'm looking at somebody's hip position. Their belt line needs to be pretty parallel to the ground. And a lot of people, what they'll do is because they have tight hamstrings, it pulls them down into this position. Then what we want to do is we want to get the ankle on the opposite knee. And what that usually does for most people is if they were started neutral, the second that knee comes up, it actually tips them back. Last step of this, and this is the thing that's actually one of my pet peeves, is a lot of people will say, reach for the floor. Well, if I look at my belt, it hasn't really changed. I'm trying to stretch the bottom part of this movement. So what I always tell people to do is check their belt and try and get neutral here first. Right now, I'm having a huge pull in the bottom side of my hamstring, and actually most people, all they have to do is just hang out here. Trying to pull this knee inside of the body with the inner thighs, the abs are tight, this is actually a working stretch. And then I'm trying to get the belly button to come forward. That's going to increase the rotation of this hip. Now what we can do here is we can actually turn this into a full posterior chain or back of the body stretch. Once I have the stretch that I'm going for, now I can rotate to the ground. This is cool for sciatic stuff if you actually have it. A lot of people get misdiagnosed for sciatic pain. More on that in a different video again. But if you have any hamstring tightness, if you have any knee problems, if you have any neck pain, this is actually a great one for neck pain too. You can hold this for about a minute, minute and a half, or if you actually do have sciatic pain here, your foot will start to go numb, so you can just come out of it there. And then switching sides. But again, finding that neutral carry position, that neutral spine, bringing the knee up might actually tip you out of it, so try and find it again. That'll get you the stretch in the hip. Then tip forward neutrally, then around. One last tip on this figure 4 and how we can actually progress the stretch into something a little bit more functional, a little bit more athletic for you guys that are really trying to look for a lot of hip strength and balance, especially for people that have a lot of balance issues. This will really help the standing figure 4 stretch. It's the same thing as the seated, and it's the reason why that hip position is super critical. It's because we want to keep this neutral spine, externally rotate this hip and put the ankle on the opposite knee, and then sit into this position backwards. This is really powerful for if you're having a lot of troubles in your deadlift. This will help you keep that vertical shin. This is really powerful if you're having a lot of balance issues for the inner thighs to have to control here. And even sitting backwards into this braced ab position is pretty challenging. But if I stop talking for a sec, I can get fairly low with this. Without rounding my back too much, I'm trying to keep this a little bit more athletic, a little more functional. And if you can hold that for about 30 seconds, you're doing pretty good in life. 2 tips for you guys really quick with this. Super important to remember, we're trying to increase range of motion in the hips. So if you feel your lower back starting to round a whole bunch more, you're not really getting the full benefit of the exercise. You might actually walk away from this stretch more unstable than stable because the hamstring didn't actually get your stretch. And your lower back has just increased what it does. It's not supposed to move that much if you've seen my other videos. The second tip, if there's any pain here at all, get out of it. It's not worth the risk of putting the spine in a bad compromised position, the neck starting to get all sorts of pressure in there too. I hope this video was useful to you guys. If there's any more videos you'd like me to film for you, please post them below or just send me an email really quick. As always, have fun. I'll talk to you guys later.